episode of Mind Over Masculinity, the podcast where we go beyond the stereotypes, dig deep into our mental, emotional, and the physical well being, and redefine what strength really looks like. Yeah. So, dear listeners, today's episode is going to blow your mind because we are diving into the molecular hydrogen therapy. Yes, the hydrogen water and exploring how it might be one of the most overlooked yet powerful tools for mental clarity, recovery, and resilience. So, joining us is the one and only Dr. Paul Barattiero. So, welcome to the show, Dr. Paul.
Thank you so much. It's an honor.
Lovely, lovely, Dr. Paul. And before we delve deep into this topic, I'll quickly love to introduce you to all the listeners. Dear listeners, Dr. Paul is a global expert and passionate pioneer in the world of hydrogen therapy. So, with over 20 years in the health and wellness industry, Dr. Paul is the founder of EcoWater and a leader in the science of how hydrogen water reduces oxidative stress, supports brain health, and enhances performance, and even heals the gut. So, I mean, it's really, really great in conversation. And I have to say that this is uh, really something which we wanted to talk about. And I'll not take much of your time. And also, uh, dear listeners, it's great when we are talking about this topic. His story starts with something deeply personal, which I definitely want to mention, like trying to save his wife from years of pain and the illness. What he discovered could shift like how we think about performance uh, and I mean prevention and the personal power as well. So let's dive into the science, the healing, and what every man should know about hydration that actually heals. So, welcome to the show again.
Thank you so much.
Lovely, lovely. So, Dr. Paul, like your journey into the hydrogen water began with a mission to help your wife. So, what was that turning point, or maybe the moment when you realized that this could help so many others as well?
Yeah, it was awesome. After my wife was helped and better,
Mhm,
I really started thinking, gosh, there's got to be a lot of other individuals and caregivers, like husbands, wives, whatever, that need to know about this because we spent
mhm.
years
Yeah.
with my wife not feeling well. We spent years with losing her a week out of every month when she was on her cycle, and
Mm,
um it changed our entire family, and so I really wanted to help other people feel better. And
mm.
so of course now there's millions of people that do feel better, and so that's very good.
Yep. Understood. Okay. So, like, how did that emotional drive shape the way you approach health, innovation, and the leadership today?
So you're saying how say that again? What's the question?
So, I'm saying, like, how you that emotional drive that started, right? How it shaped the way you approach health, innovation, and the leadership today.
Ah. So, definitely, my wife's health in general gave me great compassion for other individuals that don't have wonderful health. I really have experienced wonderful health in my life. I've had very few issues and health challenges of any kind in my life. And so it really gave me compassion. It gave me a desire to help other people who were suffering, because my watching my wife suffer and having her still do all the things she needed to do, but having low energy, having adrenal issues, having thyroid issues, having gynecological issues, anemia, all these things that were going on with her, really caused me to want to help others feel the best they can all the time.
Mm. So that's definitely true. And like, also, like most people have no idea what hydrogen water actually is.
Right.
So if you can also break it down for us in simple terms, like how it differs from the regular filtered or the alkaline water.
Yeah, so filtration is very important. That's
Mm.
where you're removing contaminants out of the water so that your body doesn't have to get rid of those contaminants. Alkaline water is when the water pH is higher than 7.
Mm.
There's no benefit to the body with
Mm.
alkaline water. Alkaline water, by virtue of the pH, does not benefit the body. In fact, it can harm the body. Hydrogen water simply means you have water and then you have dissolved hydrogen gas, H2 gas, into that water. It does not
Mm.
change the pH of the water. It does not change the flavor or the taste of the water. It just makes it a little bit smoother to drink. But other than that, you're just dissolving a gas into liquid, and that gas is H2 or hydrogen gas.
Mm. Got it. Mm.
And the reason we do that is because, as you mentioned earlier, oxidative stress
Mm.
and chronic inflammation, that's the leading cause of disease. When we look at disease models, cancer, diabetes, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, joint issues, whatever it is, the cause of those issues is the combination of oxidative stress and chronic inflammation. And so hydrogen does an excellent job at reducing oxidative stress and inflammation, chronic inflammation. So you can greatly affect disease models. You can greatly affect because you're not affecting the disease. You're affecting the source of
Mm.
the disease.
Got it. So like I mean, uh, it's really funny. Like we will spend thousands on supplements or the equipment, but uh, skip over the simplest healing element that's already backed by 1400 plus studies. So that's the power of education, and this is a wake up call, I have to say. So what do you say on this?
Yeah. So there's 1,500 studies, 200 disease models. The
Mm.
the real truth is that our bodies are designed to produce hydrogen gas.
Mm.
And when we have gut disruption or gut disturbance or gut issues, we lose the ability to properly create hydrogen gas, and we end up with oxidation rising, rising, rising until we end up with oxidative stress. And then inflammation comes to help us when we have oxidation and then get oxidative stress. And so it's just a process in the body. And we should never have oxidative stress. We're designed not to have oxidative stress. We're designed for our bodies to protect us against oxidative stress. But because of gut damage that comes from, stress, food, all kinds of things, then we end up with gut issues. And when we have gut issues, then we end up with disease.
Yep, sure. So like okay, and like oxidative stress and inflammation are the big buzzwords, and but for men, what's the day to day impact?
What's for men? There's a lot of
Yeah.
things. Energy production, fatigue, not having our minds as clear, not having the mental function,
Okay.
nitric oxide, natural production of nitric oxide in the body, natural
Okay.
production of peptides in the body,
Mm.
inflammation, which cause joint issues and other issues. There's many things that occur when hydrogen isn't working. Our immune function, for example, is lowered significantly because of a lack of hydrogen.
Understood. Understood. Yeah. So, one more thing is like, what have you been? I mean, have you seen in terms of mental health and performance improvement when men start using hydrogen water?
They quickly have increased energy. They have,
Mm,
um, more stamina. They are able to lift more weight if they're in the gym. They're able to, have less fatigue. When it comes to athletes, they're able to not have lactate buildup in the muscle. They're able to have 5 times as long for them to perform a sport or weightlifting or just every day. You don't feel tired in the afternoon. You don't get sick as much. I mean, there's a lot of things.
mm, exactly. Wow. And like, so you have mentioned that hydrogen water helps with the gut health. So if you can also explain the gut brain connection, like why every man needs to pay attention to it now more than ever.
Well, we don't want
Mm,
Parkinson's, right? We don't we don't want colon cancer. We don't want prostate cancer. We don't want
yeah.
uh, all these issues. We don't want to have neurologic function issues. So we also don't want to have cardiovascular issues. Um, with the blood lipid profiles, when we're talking about cholesterol levels, when we're talking
Mm,
about all these things, oxidative stress and inflammation, and, all kinds of issues having to do with heart and blood pressure and all these things is all related to hydrogen. So
yeah.
if we really want to understand, not only is it exercise performance, not only is it anti-inflammatory, but cardiovascular health is greatly improved with hydrogen. Male fertility support. So the quality of sperm, motility, the sperm count, morphology, all of these things are affected by hydrogen. And so hydrogen reduces testicular oxidative stress, which is a common cause of infertility. So, if men want to be fathers, then
Mm,
this can help them in that process. So,
mm,
and when we already talked about cognitive function or brain function, you know, Parkinson's is greatly slowed or gotten rid of because of hydrogen. And so, what we're really saying is
mm,
quality of life is improved, anti-aging, skin benefits, the way you look, the way you feel, the way you can perform in sexually and in sports and every aspect of
mm,
life, having less stress, having less, anxiety potentially. And so these kind of things are all important, I think.
mm. Wow, that's amazing. And like, how soon can someone expect to feel a shift after incorporating hydrogen water into their routine?
It really depends on what they're trying to help. If they have a disease model, then, they'll start to see changes within the first few days. If they're talking about sleep issues, people that have issues sleeping, it'll be the first night. The very first night from when they start drinking the water, they'll have a difference in sleep. When you're talking about sports performance, you're talking 30 minutes to an hour after you drink the water, you're going to have improved performance in sports or other things. So some things are very quick, other things are a little bit slow. When we're talking diabetes, for example, if people have diabetes and they're wanting to lower their blood sugar levels, typically it'll start the first day, but really you're talking 3 to 5 days before they could see normal blood glucose levels. And so it just depends on what the issue is that you're talking about.
Mm, understood. So, I mean, definitely, gut health is the foundation, and if you are chasing mental clarity, focus, or mood stability, your gut isn't just a part of the equation; it's the equation. So
Right.
that's very true. Yeah. So, like for any man who is listening today who feels overwhelmed, burnout, or stuck, like, what's your message for him or for them? Like, what's one simple change they can make starting today? What do you have to say?
They can order a legitimate hydrogen product, which the only one I'm aware of is by Echo, the brand that I created. And the reality is we have a simple product called the Echo Flask that makes 6 to 8 parts per million of hydrogen, which
Mm,
will rapidly increase performance and increase, what everything we've been talking about. But what I want people the men that are listening to this, I want them to be careful because there are a lot of scam products that are on Alibaba, Amazon,
mhm,
and they're not, even though they're being sold as hydrogen products, they're not really hydrogen products. Any hydrogen bottle that is less
mm,
than 150 to $200 is definitely not hydrogen. It is an electrolysis product which will create chlorine, very little hydrogen, ozone, and so you're not getting the benefits. I We have people all the time that buy these cheaper bottles and they see slight benefits and they're going, "But I'm not getting all the things you talk about." And I said, "That's because you don't have a legitimate hydrogen product. You have an electrolysis product. You need to have the Echo Flask." And so
mm,
when they get the Echo Flasks, they say, "Wow, now I have all the benefits you're talking about. I had a small number of benefits before." I said, "Well, that's because you had very little hydrogen. Now you have a real hydrogen product and people feel significantly different." So the first thing I would encourage people to do
mm,
is to get a hydrogen flask from Echo, and make sure you buy the original, the best in the world, the most trusted, which is the Echo brand. And, it's only a couple, in US
mm.
dollars, it's like 2.99, but I think they're on a special right now. But you can have them and you'll have it for 5 years plus, and you can have all of these benefits we're talking about for a minimum of 5 years. And
Mm,
so I don't know why anyone wouldn't wanna try it. Because if it does half the things I'm talking about, it's
mm,
changing people's lives. And again, my wife had significant benefits with iron levels, with gynecological, with thyroid issues, with short-term memory, with all these things. We had so many benefits and, it's worth it. It's worth it.
wow, that's amazing. Lovely. So, Dr. Paul, thank you so much, not just for for pioneering science, but for showing us that healing is often simpler than we think and more within reach than we believe. So, great. And dear listeners, if today's conversation stirred something in you, then follow up, go to EcoWater or find Paul online. I'll put all the links into the show notes for your easy reference. And it will find the tools, system, and the real answers that don't just treat symptoms but transform your foundation. And also remember that masculinity isn't just about pushing through pain. It's all about choosing health, choosing awareness, and choosing yourself. So this is your host Avik signing off from My Door Masculinity. Stay strong, stay curious, and keep evolving. Thank you so much.